George Russell, he qualified sixth, and then he started on the front row because of some of the penalties we had mentioned. He's now 16 points back from second place in the Drivers' Championship. I've just been so impressed with his consistency. Obviously, it's not to the level that we were seeing from Max Verstappen, but he has been in the conversation on so many podiums this season. What's just, I guess, stood out about his performances time and time again for Mercedes in his first year in that seat?
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. This is his first year at a top team. We saw again and again at Williams, there were these flashes of brilliance and moments, but we always thought, all well and good doing that at the back of the grid when the pressure's off. But when you're at a top team, can you do it consistently? And George has answered, yes, he can. The other thing about that, did you say 16 points between him and Leclerc in second? Can you imagine? I mean, this sounds a bit mean, but can you imagine if Max wasn't a part of this championship and how close it would be between everyone else? If Max wasn't quite as good as he was, it would be a fantastic year, wouldn't it? And we've had this before when Lewis has run away with championships. You often look at the rest of the field and you're like, wow, that could be an incredibly exciting championship. Of course, the thing is, when it's for second place, no one really cares because, as they say in Formula One, you're the first of the losers. But it is to go back to your first point. Yeah, George Russell this year has been phenomenal, and look, looks like he's going to finish the championship ahead of Lewis Hamilton on his current form. And anyone that can do that, we know is a very serious racing driver. Valtteri Bottas had 5 goes at it, couldn't do it. Nico Rosberg eventually managed it at the end of his career, had to retire the following year. It's a real accomplishment. So if he can do that first year Mercedes, that's great. I think, of course, it's not all gone Lewis's way. I'm sure you can make an argument to say that Lewis could quite easily be up there with George had things gone differently at the start of the year. And it will be interesting when they're both in a properly competitive car. With potentially a championship on the line, what happens, and hopefully we'll see that in future years if Lewis hangs around. But Mercedes will be very happy that despite the fact that Lewis's career is coming to an end, I mean, whether it's the end of his contract at the end of 2023 or a couple of years later, they know now they've got a real serious driver in George Russell to last them as long as they can give him a competitive car and keep him in a contract.
I think it's a great point by you. It's one thing to do that in your first year with the new team. It's another thing to do that alongside Lewis Hamilton. There's, I think, an intimidation factor there. There's a pressure that comes with that as well. And George Russell has seemed to handle it extremely well.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content plus live streaming, make sure to subscribe to ESPN Player.